Hey, you guys. Hey. Hey, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, come gather round the soft glow of your devices and turn the speakers up to 11. Today's Sunday, February 4th, and we're all fortunate enough to be here together tonight for episode 2 of Live from the Pigpen. Huge thanks to all you guys for showing up. I see a couple names in the chat from last week. Thanks so much for stopping by again, checking us out. I hope you enjoyed last week's show. I hope you enjoy this week's show. Real quick, as always, I'm still new at the streaming thing, so just let me know in the chat if you can see me and if you can hear me all right. I moved some things around. I remember last week's stream, there was like some of the corner of the chat was hidden and everything, so I slid some things around. I played around with the layout, so maybe we'll look a little bit better tonight. But let me know in the chat if you can see me all right. Let's see. Oh, big shout out to Christopher Helms. Thanks for showing up in the chat. Bleach Demon, I see you there. Miss Chicken, always a pleasure to have you there. I don't see Psychosity yet. Maybe he got himself a life and is out actually touching grass tonight. Maybe he'll stop in later. Who knows? Always a pleasure to see him, though. But hopefully there'll be a little less latency in the chat and everything through tonight. All right. Some Pig, terrific, radiant, humble. Oh, thank you so much. Sounds good, looks good. You're visible. All right, that's always great. This is all still pretty new to me, and like right before the show, I always freak out thinking that I'm going to click the on button and you guys are going to see nothing. I'm just going to be either that or there'll be no audio or all sorts of crap. But as always, my life is surrounded by mishaps. You know what I mean? I was going to start off this episode with a post. I was just sharing memes earlier on in the week and everything like that. I think it was like Monday. And I threw some like moon landing post up, and I got like a really in-depth comment. I'm like, wow, that's real insightful. And it sort of spun me off, you know what I mean? And I was just like, oh, I really don't have a topic for the stream tonight. So, maybe we can check out some moon landing stuff. There's a few different conspiracies. I did a little bit of research here. Let me I got the official ass clipboard going. I got some actual research going tonight. So we're stepping the stream up, ladies and gentlemen. We might actually look like we know what we're talking about here in the Pigpen tonight. But I don't know, man. You guys want to shoot the shit about some moon landing stuff? Let me see what you got. Oh, hello. I don't know. I went back to find that post. That's why I said, like my whole life is centered in tragedy. And I think it was maybe one of those time-sensitive posts that delete itself or something like that, because I brought up the meme I posted, but just the comment wasn't there. I forget who the user was and everything, but it was like real insightful about, I think the second or third variation of the moon landing conspiracy. There's been a few. And I don't know, man. If you guys want to go along with it, man, I looked some of them up. I guess we could like shoot the shit about them here today. So let me take a look in here. All right. Oh man, the chat on the monitor I'm viewing the stream through is riding on top of the chat on the overlay and everything like that. But I'll do my best to take a look at it. But all right, let me pull some shit up here. All right. Just give me the quickest second here. I'm just looking up. I pulled up some moon landing footage. Now, I think that we should take a look at it real quick first, and then go into some of the like conspiracy theory points, and then watch it over again. I think it's only like a 2.5-minute video or whatever. Just to try to see if our insight on watching the video changes. I'm sure you guys heard of some of the like the moon landing conspiracy theory stuff. It was shot on a sound stage, all that sort of crap. So let's take a look at the video first, see what we see, and then maybe pop back in and try to take a look at the conspiracy theory part. So let me get everything all rewound, throw it down into full screen here. All right, put this shit on so I can actually see what I'm doing for once. All right, And all right, so right here we have a YouTube video of, I don't know, I think it's just like all cut up and brought together moon landing stuff. So yeah, first moon landing. Oh, this is the 7-minute 41 second 140. I fucked that all up, didn't I? All right, give me a quick second because I'm an idiot and I pulled up the wrong video. So let's fuck everything up off the front, off the start. All right, I'm gonna pull up this one first. Like I said, guys, not a professional streamer. Hope you're not hoping for the highest quality. But let's kick things off. Try to expand things out a little bit so you can see it. Let me know if you can see the video and if the audio is going through. So let me. All right, throw a thumbs up or so if you can see it and hear it in the chat. All right. All right, that was the liftoff. This is the descent and all that.
30 feet, 2.5 down. Take shadow. 4 forward. 4 forward. Drift into the right a little. 1.5. Contact light. Okay, engine stop.
Thanks for letting me know, Chris Helms. Like I said, I never knew if these things are playing or not.
Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot. Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The LM footpads are only...
LM footpads, I guess, are like lunar module, right?
In the surface about...
oh my god, I don't even know why I'm watching that.
I'm going to step off the LM now.
Wow, I messed that all up, didn't I?
One small step for man. One giant leap for mankind. Tony, this is so great you can't believe it. I believe it, Charlie. It's raining, Johnny. Look at it go, would you, Charlie? You got all your steering to get straight. Oh, this is going to be some kind of different ride.
I'd be tearing donuts in that thing like a motherfucker. You had no idea.
Hippity hopping over hill and dale. Da 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 da. Hippity hopping along. One ignition. Burn away, Houston. Vector good.
We're burning flat.
Right.
Looks good, flight.
Observation shot flight.
Roger.
Stirred my vodka and Tang with a space stick. We're actually going to bring Tang up a little bit later, Miss Chicken. It ties into some other areas of the conspiracy theory. But let me throw a pause on that. All right, let me throw my little headphones down. All right, guys. So I mean, I know I was talking during much of that and like shaking the screen a little bit during it, but I mean, pretty much that's the gist of the whole thing. You know what I mean? You saw a few seconds of it from the takeoff. You saw the descent down onto the lunar surface. Him walking around, jumping off the ladder. You saw his footprint in the I don't know, I guess you could call it the lunar dust or whatever you call it. You know, all the crap that was laying there on the surface. So, oh no. But, you know, you've seen all that sort of stuff. Now, I mean, I grabbed that footage off YouTube, you know what I mean? And I was going through this so much, like, moon landing stuff. I was just looking for, like, raw footage, raw video and everything. As much from, you know, the actual cast I could find. A lot of the stuff that I was coming up on, that I was seeing, was just not, it was not original. I mean, you could tell that it was remastered. I mean, it looked like 4K, you know what I mean? It looked like ultra crystal clear. And I know the moon landing was done like pre-1970. They didn't have little 4K cameras. In fact, the cameras that the astronauts filmed all the moon footage on, I mean, they were like modified for for, like their lack of atmosphere and all that sort of stuff. But there were just these weird little things that they had, literally like they slid them onto the front of their chest, and that's how they got the video. It was like probably the very first body cam. But, all right. Like I said earlier, I got my little research clipboard here. I feel so professional right now, dude. It's like I'm doing forensic science or some shit, But we got some statistics here. All right. Now, we're going down the conspiracy theory road first. You know what I mean? And I feel like before we even like touch on the tinfoil hat stuff, I think it should be said, all conspiracy theories should be listened to. They should be weighed and thought about. You know what I mean? If anything, it's good mental exercise. It teaches you, rational thinking. So, maybe here in the pig pen, we'll always go into the assumption that every conspiracy theory is true. Every mainstream media article is false. You know what I mean? If we're talking about unexplained deaths or whatever, don't come with some like mainstream media article about like safe and effective this and that, because that's not a good source. We're always going to side with the conspiracy theories here. So the moon landing theory, we're going to give it a little bit of I don't know, man. We're going to let it ride for a little bit. We're going to talk a little bit about it. All right. The percentage of the population that believes least about the moon landing conspiracy are simply the Europeans at 1 in 4. So 1 in 4 Europeans believes that the moon landing just did not happen. All right. Now, when you isolate that strictly to the United Kingdom, the figure jumps up to 52%. So 1 out of 2 people in the United Kingdom believe that the moon landing was fake. The highest percentage of people that believe it was not real is, no doubt Russia. People are still alive today probably from when it happened, and they probably know like the disinformation campaigns put on by Russia afterwards and everything. The second that the moon landing got doubted, I'm sure the Russian press covered that, So, of course, obviously the Russians are going to have the highest percentage of people not believing the moon landing. Now comes the Americans. Jesus Christ, those fucking Americans. Always, God damn it. Before I read the tally out, throw some numbers up in the chat. What percent of Americans do you think do not believe in the moon landing? Now, if it's a high percentage, you think like, oh, geez, maybe the Americans are either off their tits or they're super based. You know what I mean? Maybe they're just like so fucking pilled they can see through everything, Or if the number is like exceedingly low, you would think like, oh, those gullible fucking Americans, that they'll believe whatever their media masters tell them, that they're, network television puppets. So, Professor Magoo. Oh, thank you very much, Miss Rubber Chicken. All right. We got JS with a comment in the chat room of 30%. We have Miss Rubber Chicken at 45%. And you two have given us Americans way more credit than we deserve, because according to the fucking internet, wherever I search these things from, 65% of Americans do not believe in the moon landing. That's almost 2 out of 3. So I don't know. This theory has some traction, and a lot of people heard about it. Aside from like maybe JFK, and of course the famous inside job. I don't even think you're allowed to mention it on YouTube. You know what I mean? The conspiracy theory that can't melt steel beams. Next to those two, the moon landing conspiracy is probably one of the most widely recognizable, the widely heard one. You actually seen it in a lot of pop culture. I want to say there's a James Bond film where, like the bad guys chasing James Bond. I'm not really sure. Those were a little bit before my time, and I was never really a fan of the modern ones, so I never caught up on the catalog. But I know there was a James Bond film. The enemy's chasing him around through like film studios or whatever, and he runs past like a fake moon landing presentation. It's been mentioned in countless like music videos. there's a line in the Red Hot Chili Peppers song "Californication," space being the final frontier, but it's filmed in someone's basement or a Hollywood basement. Moonraker, could that be it? Who knows? But yeah, the moon landing theory is very popular. It grabbed me. I consume conspiracy theories like they're fucking junk food. You know what I mean? I see some, I just grab it and it's like, I love them. But the moon landing one, I don't know. I never really hopped into. That's why like doing this research earlier was pretty good. But all right. Before we go and revisit that video again, the main talking points that I was able to come up for on like my little internet search about that substantiate the moon landing fakes here. I'm sorry, man. I'm reaching for my little green boy. Smoke 'em if you got 'em, ladies and gentlemen. I almost forgot that I'm sitting here talking conspiracy theories and my stupid little mask on the internet, and I'm not even freaking smoking. But all right, the first talking point we have is that during the descent, even after the launch, going up into space during the descent, in the background, you could not see any stars in the sky. Now, this, according to all like the people who debunk this theory, is due to the shutter speed of the cameras that were on the module itself and the shutter speed of the actual like spacesuit cameras that the astronauts were sliding down onto themselves and jumping around with. That the exposure time was too fast, and if they wanted to see the stars, you would have to have like a very long exposure, and everything else would look like funny if you exposed the film for that long in space. So, I mean, that's what they say to debunk that. Which is strange to me, though, because I've watched live feeds from the International Space Station, and you can see the stars. You know what I mean? You can't see them like you're standing down here on Earth looking up in the night sky, but you can see, like, stuff out there, And granted, there's, 40, 50 years of technology between the two, but you'd think that you'd be able to see, like, maybe a little bit of something, So that's fuel for the conspiracy, That's something that the average person can hear, and it clicks with them like, oh yeah, there should be stuff. But, maybe, like I said, having that technical knowledge of film and photography and all that sort of stuff, maybe that debunks it, so jury's out on that one, who knows. But, now this is one that I have a whole separate video on that we're going to watch after. This is one I almost shit. Another talking point in the moon landing conspiracy thing is that when he planted the flag was waving around. Now, there's no atmosphere in space. When you plant the flag, it should have just like sat there and hung. They say that the wave and shaking motion is signs of maybe a slight breeze on the soundstage that the moon landing was being filmed on. And that's the pro side of it there. Now, the con side of it, that's almost exclusively the rebuttal to the flag waving thing, is that when it was being planted in the ground, that it was being like twisted and dug down there to get like a better bite in the soil, so the flag staff had a better, was more, robust. It could support the weight of the overall thing holding the flag. And I could find actually almost no other explanation than he was like digging it in, like rocking it back and forth to push down. I've seen that same thing 3 or 4 times. Now, we have actually better video lined up. You remember when I fucked up and I put the first video up? This second video has a lot better angle, a lot longer shot of him actually putting the flag down. So we're able to see exactly when's the flag waving, where his hand is on it, when he's putting it into the ground. To me, this is pretty damning. One, because like I said, the only rebuttal to the flag waving thing is that the guy putting it in the ground did it. There's no other explanation. And 2, we're going to see later that maybe something else is really going on there. So I think this one has the best shot at like proving the conspiracy theory right, especially from the the angle of the video that I'm going to show you guys just a little bit later. All right. Yet another talking point of the moon landing conspiracy theory. Oh my God, I can't even talk, you guys. It's definitely not the pot. Is jerky movements. When they're showing the guys jumping around and walking around, that the movement looks a little bit jerky. That they might be, like hung up on wires, like wire assist. That regular motion just doesn't like happen that way. Regular fluid body mechanics don't look like that. Regardless of if you're in zero gravity, mega gravity, atmosphere, whatever, just body mechanics are just body mechanics, And a lot of people were looking at the video of them like hopping around and everything like that. And the motion looks so unnatural for it to be organic, but if you like in your mind's eye place them on a wire, like there's a wire coming out, from their little equipment backpack up, and you picture that while they're jumping around, I mean, you can actually see that, and that, that clicks in your mind. Like I said earlier about the stars in the sky, when you see this, it clicks in the average guy's mind, like yeah, that makes sense to me. You can tie real world observations to that, and sorry about that. And yeah, when I watch that video, I look at it and some of the movement looks really, really unnatural, and then when you think about it in the mindset of, oh, maybe they're wearing like a production wire, like a stage wire, and then you look at it and you're like, yeah, So let me take a quick look in the chat. All right, going out for a smoke, can't do that in the house with the birds. So when it came out, there's a Mandela effect thing going on with Moonraker too. Oh, I'm a big fan of Mandela effect, man. New ones keep getting keep getting unearthed all the time, man. Mandela effect's a good time. I really like that one. All right. No conspiracy theory analysis is complete without some jazz cabbage. Oh, Mr. Bleach Demon hits it on the head. That puff's for you, my friend. All right, haven't heard that, JS. A lot of people swear the girl at the end has braces. Oh yeah, that's the Mandela effect. Humping and lift fags, like the Jaws guy. True. But the jerky movement thing definitely hits home. Another talking point that supports the moon landing didn't happen is the deadly radiation that they would receive that would bombard the capsule when it flew through a certain area of space known as the Van Allen belts. This is an area where there's, like a high concentration of radiation and everything. And this was actually known to the alleged NASA scientists when they were, putting everything together to make the mission move forward. They thought that they were going to launch these guys up into space in their little capsule type thing, and when they flew through the Van Allen belt, that it was going to be like a little microwave. You know what I mean? They would have some little fucking astronaut hot pockets in those suits. They just all crisp up on the inside. But I don't know. You know what I mean? Maybe it didn't happen. You know what I mean? They did some interviews afterwards, if they were even in the capsule. But a lot of the Van Allen belt stuff is a little bit like more technical. And in the research like documentaries I was watching, a lot of it was sort of glanced over. But it originated in one of the very first, I don't know, I guess you could call it editions of the moon landing conspiracy theory. Like the very first one, it branched off and changed, like all good conspiracy theories do. You know what I mean? It at the end of the day, a good conspiracy theory is like a creepypasta. You know what I mean? Like someone starts it off, puts a concept out, and then it grows and it builds. And the original fake moon landing theory came from a guy. I got his name here. Bill Kaysing was the man, like the grandfather of the entire moon landing conspiracy. He, in 1974, wrote a book called We Never Went to the Moon, America's $30 billion Swindle. And in that book, he's the one that introduced like the theory about the Van Allen belt radiation. So I mean that was one of the very first talking points that came out. A lot of that book from Mr. Casing, the 1974 book, handful of years, like 5 years after the moon landing or so. A lot of it was more on the scientific end, like the technical side. He himself, well, I don't believe he was like an engineer or a rocket scientist. Excuse me. I believe his job was to write the technical manuals for the rockets itself, So, no one could argue that he wasn't an educated individual. No one could say that he didn't know what he was talking about. I mean, obviously, if you're writing the fucking instructions, you obviously have a good handle on the source material. You know what I mean? You can describe it in and out in ways that the layman can understand. And that in itself suggests a mastery of the subject, in my opinion. So, I mean, the guy obviously knew what he was talking about. Was he just trying to write a book, sell some copies? Was he shit posting the world with this? I mean, who knows? But the very original version he put out was that there was no one in the actual capsule. That the footage of the astronauts going up, they went into like a false room inside like the launch like elevator and everything, and just came right back down to the bottom. They were ushered out into the back, and while they were supposed to be flying there to space, they were originally like in Las Vegas or something like that. Like the original version that came out in 1974 in this book was like wicked sketchy, But over the years, once the book caught on, a lot of people started to take it more seriously. And I think he was on like the Oprah Winfrey show. I mean, like he started to speak out on it, And then a few short years after his book came out, in 1978, there was a movie called Capricorn 1 that was released. It was a film about like NASA and the government faking a landing on Mars, and that just sort of like added fuel to the fire. That legitimized the point that, it can be done. More people think this than just the conspiracy theorists, So that just like threw gasoline on the fire that at that time was already burning, But all right, let me do the like the Jaws guy. Now I want to go back and watch again. Saw that one too. Oh, Jay, you seen Capricorn 1? Is that the movie you're talking about? But I never seen it. There is a good film tied to the moon landing conspiracy, and I'm definitely going to touch on it later because it's just the chef's kiss for me. It's what held my attention to the moon landing conspiracy theory, like the movie tie-in that I'm going to get to after all this stuff. But it was that one. Look it up if it's available. I definitely want to check it out. You know what I mean? Older movies are definitely better. You know what I mean? If anything that's been through the cinema before the age of wokeness is definitely worth seeing. And seeing that this is way before that. I'm sure that it's not chock filled with all the bullshit, and it'll be worth watching. But all right, look it up if it's available. All right, what else do we got? All right, more evidence of the moon landing conspiracy theory is that after the descent, after the lunar module touched down, there was no visual crater on the ground. Now, when the astronauts stepped out, they even called off over their radio that they stepped down into like 1 or 2 inches of like a soot-like material, just like lunar fucking schmeg or whatever it is, dust, And they even took a famous picture of the shoe standing next to it, and you can even see where the shoe, through the act of stepping down, sort of displaced a small area of this lunar dust, And, the conspiracy theorists point to the lack of any discernible crater underneath the module as proof that it didn't, drop down from the sky and clunk onto the ground, as you would think it was, you know what I mean? Because it would be something a little deeper there, or it would have, thrown stuff up, and you would just, see traces of it on the ground. But, maybe none of that exists. There is a couple good shots of that in the video we just watched. And like I said, we're going to watch it over again. That way, now that we talked about this stuff, we can take a little better look at it and see, like, maybe if it changes our opinions. But what else we have? All right, the like the last thing is, I don't know, it's sort of anecdotal that they brought back a lot of samples from the moon, allegedly. And a lot of the conspiracy theorists say that those aren't actual, like, moon samples, but they're like samples of, like, asteroids and stuff taken from Antarctica, because up there when they land they're still, like, semi-pristine and blah blah blah. And that it's not hard to get, like, an American lab or something like that to fake certify something, like this whole science for sale argument, But that's that's a lot of the talking points to the modern day moon landing conspiracy. Like I said, it morphed around a lot. The original one from James Casing, his original one, the astronauts didn't even get into the capsule. You know what I mean? It was the fake elevator thing. They came around down the back. And then the whole conspiracy theory changed over to they got in the capsule, but they just, like, orbited Earth a couple times, like letting all the countdown tick off until when they were supposed to return, and then they came back down in the reconnaissance thing, that little tube-looking thing. The never went to space thing, they said that, like, a B-52 bomber just, like, flew over with them inside it and just, like, pushed them out the back of the aircraft, and then it fell down and the cameras started rolling then. All sorts of stuff. There's evidence, independent of all the conspiracy theory stuff, that does support and, in a way, debunk the moon landing theory. One of them that stuck out is that, everyone knew this was happening. It was a huge propaganda event. The country was in the middle of the Cold War. The space race. Everyone was trying to get up there. There was a sense of national pride. It was water cooler conversation at work. It was, it was all over the place. And one of this guy, I wish I wrote his name down, but I didn't. He was so, like, wrapped up in the hype, and he was some kind of, like, radio engineer or something. This crazy bastard, like, built himself a huge antenna, like a huge directional antenna in his backyard, and like, pointed it over towards, like, the trajectory of the space shuttle, and he was actually picking up the outgoing transmissions from, like, the space shuttle, and when the conspiracy theory stuff broke, he popped forward. He was just like, no, I'm the closest thing there was to an eyewitness. I set this whole thing up in my backyard. I listened to the communications coming off of the shuttle. If these communications weren't coming off the shuttle, he wouldn't have picked them up when he aimed his antenna at the sky. So he's like, it definitely happened. But then again, you have the conspiracy theorists on the other side saying, like, oh, it was all pre-recorded, You show them the video footage, and the original video footage was supposed to be shot in, like, Area 51, and I'm not really sure, I think adding Area 51 to the conspiracy theory sort of delegitimizes it, because it's outer space, Area 51, I think it's a little bit overkill. If anything, I believe it. Well, I would be more apt to believe that it was shot in, like, Los Angeles or Hollywood or something like that. So there's that little aspect. Like I said, the conspiracy theory changes over and over. But I don't know, man. With that being said, let's take a quick second to revisit that same little bullshit video that we watched earlier and see if, our opinion of it changed, or see if some of the stuff we just talked about, like, dings or picks anything up on us. So let's hop back to that. Let's go back to that. I'll try to pull it up full screen this time, so we can all get a little bit of better view. All right, let me grab my earpiece. All right, man. Now let's take a look at it again. See if it hits any different now this time.
1, 0, all engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Big shadow. 4 forward.
All right, now here's
4
the
forward.
descent.
Just into the right a little.
Now it looks like he's
2.5.
going at a good
Contact
clip,
light.
right? Except this
Okay, engine
dingy ass part where you can't see
Listen,
shit. But,
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
all right, I'm just gonna stop it right there. Now, that little like jostle in the footage, that's them landing. You know what I mean? That's them hitting, and the camera shaking. I'm sorry for coughing, you guys, but like, let's pull that back a little bit and watch that over again. You know, they're coming in. It looks like they're approaching landing at a pretty decent clip. You know what I mean? You can tell that they're moving at speed. And then when they hit is when that little dark part of the video happens and, you know, everything shakes. So that's like the force of the impact. All right, let's rewatch that
To the right a
here.
little. 2.5.
There we go.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. Listen, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
All right, so that should be the force that any like dust should have been
got a
kicked
bunch
up
of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot.
And I mean, if that's the live shot, you see nothing in the
Neil, we
air.
can see you coming down the ladder now. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The lamb footpads are only impressed in the surface about.
All right, right there. Sorry for the cough again. The you know, like the footprints are depressed into the surface about 1 or 2 inches. So it you know, you hear later on that this stuff was fine. It was like super fine, like baby powder. That once it landed on the spacesuit, that they couldn't get it off, and that they were tracking it back into the module when they went back inside. Like this stuff was like super, super fine, you know. Now, if they hit that surface with, you know, that force of impact that was seen later, you would think that there would be some visual mark of it, right? So just, you know, I'm not sure if it's this video or the next one that gives like a more clear video picture of the lander itself. But let's keep going on here.
1 or 2 inches. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man.
All right.
One
See, there's the imprint
giant
right
leap
there
for
from the foot.
mankind.
Now, if a foot, oh man, started to freaking go back. All right. Now, you see this little jam right here. If a foot, you know, your average American man, let's say he was even a little bit chubby. Maybe he was a little bit chubby and had some shit in his pockets. You know, we'll say he's 200 pounds or 200 plus, you know. That impression is made by him walking into this with like a padded or a safety friggin' boot, you know. You see clear impressions of tread. You see that it's packed tightly, leaving that crisp little like 90-degree angle in the tread. I mean, that stuff has the characteristics of a very fine powder. I mean, that stuff should have blown up when you've landed in it, at least according to, I don't know, what I would think.
Leap for mankind. Tony, this is so great you can't believe it. I believe it, Charlie.
All right, star of the
It's
sky.
raining, John. Look at it go, would you, Charlie? You got all your steering and it's straight. Oh, this is going to be some kind of different ride.
All right, now this, I think the other video shows it a little bit better, but this is like an example of like the jerky motion. You know, like just the fluid body mechanics seem a little bit off.
Hoppity, hippity, hoppity, hippity, hopping over hill and dale. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
That and, oh, actually, I'm going to rewind that a little bit. If you notice while he's hopping too, it's, while he's hopping, he's kicking up sand. That's
Over hill and dale.
yeah. You see how it's like shooting out from under his feet as he jumps. But the lunar lander left almost nothing though. I mean that strikes it a little odd to me.
One ignition. Right away, Houston. Vector good.
We're burning flat.
Thanks,
That's
Rod.
fast.
All right, that's them shooting back off the planet. Now, all right, where the hell are we? Now, let's take another look at that. If anything screams out, oh, that's something on a wire, it's that shot of the lander, you know, taking off the surface of the moon to come back to the rendezvous, whatever the fuck, shuttle, It looks so very fake. It doesn't look like it's being propelled from the bottom. It looks like it's being pulled from the top. The angle of it is just almost exactly straight. I don't know. Let's watch it again. Like, it looks sketchy to me.
One.
Yeah, this part right here.
Burn away, Houston. Vector good.
We're burning flat.
Now that just,
Looks good, flight.
Observation shot flight.
Roger.
I don't know, it just looks off to me. You know what I mean? It just does not look right. No. All right. So, I mean, now that we've had a chance to take a look at the video and everything, what do you guys think? Did any of those conspiracy theory talking points that I shot out there like pop out to you as like a possibility so far? Like I said, the lunar lander or module or whatever not having any sort of like crater or something like that kind of sold it to me, especially when I saw all the dust being kicked up, when I watched that. Now, actually, there is one more video I want to pop up. Let me pull it out of here. This one's a little bit long, but... Oh, no, wait, this isn't it. What the goddamn hell? It's a little bit long, but it has a better shot of them putting, like, the flag in. Alright, that's the one I just watched. My god, this takes so friggin' long. But, alright, let's pull this back here. My god. This one is a little bit longer, but it has, like, horrible, like, audio music in it. So we're gonna try to get out of that. Yeah, I'll just play a few minutes of it so you can hear how shitty it is.
9.
But the good stuff on this video comes at around 4 minutes in, when you get a better view of the astronauts planting the flag into the lunar surface.
We have a liftoff.
Now,
32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Almost universally, the reason that is like debunked for waving is that it like he was twisting the handle of it while he was putting it into the soil. But in this video, there's a very clear shot of the whole thing, and something else which is just, very suspect.
Plus 30 seconds.
Roll complete and engine program. One Bravo.
One Bravo is
Alright, some more of that stuff. That a lot of people talk, like the conspiracy theorists people talk about how the lander itself doesn't even look fake. It looks like it's put together with like tin foil and duct tape and everything. But that thing right there doesn't look stout at all. Like, can you imagine you sitting there in 1969 and you're like, yeah, you're gonna get on top of this rickety ass thing. We're gonna put you on a big huge rocket filled with like liquid oxygen and just this combustible shit. Just fire you off out of the planet up onto the moon. You can trust us, we're the government, it's gonna work. The capsule is safe and effective, we swear. You guys hearing this though? Isn't this the most shit space music? Like, I almost clicked off this video just because of the soundtrack. I almost want to mute it, but we'll turn it down some. But I mean, I guess this is some of the footage out the window, the footage of, like the control panel. But how soon are we? Alright, we're about a minute and a half from the good stuff. It comes in at like 4 minutes or so. Oh man, I almost want to fast forward through this shit. The music is killing me. Let me hop into the chat. Turn on. The real conspiracy was to convince people we never landed on the moon so people wouldn't think about that. I see you going to the moon much further. All that fire coming out of the rocket, that's me on Taco Bell. Oh, welcome to the stream, Screwhead. We were talking shit about you being late earlier. It was great. You're going to have to watch the replay to see what we said about you. Oh, it was horrible. We were using curse words, racial obscenities. We were talking so much shit about you. I don't know. Good to see you, though. Alright. But, yeah, we got about half a minute. This is the descent right here. Alright, this is the same, footage that was in the last video, but we're coming down. Oh, the music's killing me. I had to, well, I don't want to, mute it. Alright, now here, whoops. Alright, here we're coming up on the good stuff here, the flag planting part. Now, just him prepping it. Alright, now, this right here, this is what I thought was interesting here. The guy on the right, that little motherfucker right there, he is about to, bang down into the ground some sort of receiving hardware that the other astronaut is simply just going to slide the flag down into. And we're going to watch this happen right here. Alright, see he's lining it up, he's hitting it with some kind of hammer thing, like he's banging it down there. And you can see, now hold on even a minute. I'm going to even bring it back some. I watched this shit 30 times later. Earlier. You can see as he's banging it in, you can see he's leaning down. So the receiving tube is definitely going down into the ground, because you can see where he's making contact with the tip of it. And as he's hammering, it's going down. So let's check that shit out again. There it is. Now see, he starts hammering there. See, and yeah, now he's down to there. You can definitely see where he made the receiving tool. Now it looks like a little bit of adjustment. All right, and well, that's the end of that part. Now, whoops. Now we just watched all him banging in the receiving tool. Now let's watch the flag and see where the flag starts to wave. Let's start to see where the motion is. Is he holding it still? Is it when he starts to put it in? Because to me, it looks like it kicks around a few times before anything even happens. It's even waving there a little bit. It's still moving. You can see it swaying a little bit. Alright. Now right here, that might be the little twist action, but, to my untrained eye, it looked like it was swinging around before that, But I don't even remember the rest of this video, because after the flag waving part, I watched it so many times, I just had to friggin' walk away from it. I went down the rabbit hole. Once these conspiracy theories friggin' grab a hold of you, you think everything's fake, it's fucking horrible. But, yeah, there's another shot of the night sky and everything. I wish there was another shot of the lander. I don't think I have that one on the video. I don't know, man. I gotta kill it. I can't do low boating. But I don't know, man. What do you guys think, Train? We close out of there. Shut this down. Oh, I'm sorry I'm taking so long, you guys. I'll be done in a second. But what do you guys think? I don't know. Overall, if you ask me if I believe in the moon landing conspiracy, my answer would be I believe a version of it, And the version I believe is the one that Stanley Kubrick filmed it, you know what I mean? And the only reason I believe that is because it has that association with Stanley Kubrick. I think Full Metal Jacket is an outstanding movie. A Clockwork Orange is a cultural classic. Almost everything he's done has been great, and I think the guy just deserves a nod. So, on the strength of him doing movies that I like, I fully believe the conspiracy theory that he also filmed the moon landing. Because that's all it takes, you know what I mean? I don't need much, you know what I mean? Was he a good director? Yes, he was. That's good. That's all I need, you know? And only because I did a little bit of research into the fucking... All right, the Shining conspiracy theories, the Shining moon landing conspiracy theory, man. I just want to touch on it real quick, and I have another movie clip just to see if you can see these like hidden signs. But USA steals UFO recovered in Italy in 1933. It's like Dender. The moon does have an atmosphere, not just dense as Earth. I know it has a real light one. Doctor Strangelove is a work of genius. I never sat through an entire viewing of Doctor Strangelove. I only seen it in like, sections here and there and everything. I never like watched it, credit to credit. It is a definitely good movie, his last movie too, Eyes Wide Shut, with that little couch jumping freak there, Tom Cruise, and I think his wife at the time, Nicole Kidman. I only watched that once. I had a feeling that it had, like some embedded themes in it that I wasn't picking up on, but I wasn't really that impressed with it, you know what I mean? But Full Metal Jacket, oh, holy shit, my God, that movie is close to perfect. In Clockwork Orange, I probably in my top 10 movies, definitely in my top 10, and I watched that over and over again. I thought it was brilliant, from the imagined improvised language to the like the mercy and the reframing of the hero in the very last few moments of the third reel and everything. It was great. I mean, just the storytelling, the visuals on it was great. I mean, Clockwork Orange was so good. And I mean, just on the strength of those movies, man, if you told me that he filmed the moon landing, I'd be like, yes, fuck yes, give him credit. He is a genius. If anyone could pull the moon landing off, it would be Kubrick. And I mean, he did 2001, not that long before. Was 2001 done? April 12th, 1968. You know what I mean? So it was literally done a year before the moon landing. If the public had an idea of what space and the moon landing would look like in their mind's eye at that time, and they seen that movie, it would be his vision of space. You know what I mean? He framed space for their imagination when they were thinking about what this, capsule was doing up there in the sky. I mean, he was just so influential, And yeah, man, so you give him the credit. Just give him the credit. He filmed it. It was fake. Kubrick's a god. That's all that matters. But the one of the versions of the moon landing conspiracy theories branched off like down the Kubrick branch, where he filmed it and everything, and he gave like this deathbed confession and all sorts of stuff, and that he felt such guilt over doing it that he not only had that deathbed confession, but he embedded a confession in the film The Shining, which was an adaptation of a Stephen King novel. A great movie, you know what I mean? Also one of Kubrick's finest. It gets pumped out every Halloween, and every Halloween I watch it, and it never gets old. You know what I mean? It's wonderful. It's multifaceted. It has so many layers, And like, are they ghosts that he's seeing in the hotel? Are they just figments of his imagination? It's so deep, But a great movie, great performances too. But the theory goes that within that performance, within that film, he embedded a confession, a coded message, if you would, telling the world that, yes, I had something to do with the moon landing. The moon landing is something that may not be what it seems on the outside. But let me check in with the chat real quick. JS, Dr. Strangelove is brilliant. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy from Screwhead. Ah, very true, Psychosity. Shining is brilliant, but I've read Kubrick was very much mean to Shelley Duvall. Oh, well, I mean, All right. There's an interview with Kubrick where he admits to filming sections of the Apollo moon landing, supposedly played as something went wrong with the mission. Kubrick pretty much drove Shelley Duvall crazy. I don't think she ever recovered. 2001, a great movie. I heard some of that stuff about Kubrick's treatment of Shelley Duvall, but he was well, I mean, you hear a lot of defense about him that he was like a method director. You know what I mean? And he wanted to keep her in a state of anxiety, in a state of I don't know, unrest, to like milk the best out of her performance for the movie. You know, maybe that's just what he said after getting called out for being such a prick, or maybe that's part of his artistic creativity. But yeah, I mean, I definitely remember hearing things about him treating Duvall like shit. But yeah, where's my stuff about the? All right, the Shining conspiracy theory. I got so much shit on here. All right, the signs that Kubrick confessed in the movie The Shining. One of them, Tang product placement. There are scenes where the family are walking through the Overlook Hotel for the first time. You know, when they're walking through the kitchen area, where they have all the mixing machines and the bowls and everything. And then I guess they go into like the stock room where they have all the ketchup and all that sort of stuff. And I guess there is like a very visual, almost center frame product placement like Tang logo. There's like a bunch of boxes of Tang below it, but it's really framed center in the shot and very like distinctive. In fact, there's a scene where like Jack Nicholson is in it and he's like conversing with someone, whatever, and like the camera is even over a little bit to make sure that like the Tang logo is center frame and Jack is like off to the side. So it Kubrick, who was known for being a perfectionist, you know what I mean, agonizing off each and every frame of his film on the dailies. If he has a shot like that in a film of his, it's like that for a reason, and that is something that the Kubrick conspiracy theorists always throw out there, that it was part of his confession. Tang was very closely associated with the space program and Apollo 11 in particular. All right, let's see, another sign that people take as a confession is the sweater on Danny Torrance during a scene that he's playing in. It's literally an Apollo 11 sweater. I mean, it says it right on the front of it. And, a lot of people jump on that and be like, how can it be any more obvious? It says Apollo 11 right there. And so, I mean, yeah, that's a dead give. I mean, it's in fucking words right there on this kid's sweater. That, and there's a scene where he stands up in like center frame. You get it. It's Apollo 11, But who knows? You know what I mean? It could mean something. Yeah, maybe it doesn't. What else do we get up here? Now something which is a little bit juicy is room 237. There's a scene where, Danny the child walks down the hallway and everything, and he enters room 237, and he sees, whatever, horrors beyond his comprehension. This sticks out as something that was planted in there because in the original Stephen King book, it is not room 237. What is it? It's room 217 in the book, but room 237 in the movie. Now, people who support the Kubrick conspiracy theory look at 237 as representative of the 237,000 miles between the Earth and the Moon. But debunkers of this theory are very quick to point out that it's actually 238,000 miles most of the year. And to get to the 237 mile is only, certain parts of the orbit, and it's only a very small part, So is it close to the amount of miles between Earth and the Moon? Yes. Is it exact? Depends on the time of year. Is it relevant? Does it mean that's what the changing of room 217 to 237 means? Yeah, it's up to you, What else do we have? All right. Not much. And aside from those, the overall theme of The Shining could be representative of the Apollo 11 mission as a whole. The movie features three people isolated, cut off from humanity, out in dangerous, deadly conditions, that would kill them, which ultimately killed, the main character at the end if they were to step outside in it. A lot of people say that the Overlook Hotel itself is representative of the capsule, and the family inside of it representative of the astronauts. And when you look at it like that, I mean, if they're intentional and they're all like that together, maybe that is some sort of dog whistle. Maybe it is a flag in the air. Hey, something's over here. But we have the scene that actually shows a few of those little dog whistle parts and everything. Let me pull this up right here. All right. We'll switch to it real quick. Now, this is the scene from the 1980 film The Shining that has, like I said, those little dog whistly parts. Oh, let me put the volume up. Now, the print on the carpet is supposed to be reminiscent of the launch pad that everything took off of. Like, all the symbolism is pretty much, contained in this clip. So let's kick this off here. I hope you can hear it. Oh. Yep. All right. God, that's such an iconic shot. Look at that. Right there. See? Apollo 11 right on the shot. Center frame, too. I won't rewind it. But, yeah, I mean, the visual center of that shot is the Apollo 11 sweater right there. I mean, does that mean something? Yeah, who knows?
Mom!
Now we're coming up here. It's just the room key for 237.
Mom, are you in there?
Now here in the movie... whoops.
Hi, I'm Nicole Hockley from Sandy Hook Promise.
What? Hold on a second. Now... no one cares. No one cares. No one cares. No one cares. Alright. Now in the... like a lot of the conspiracy theorists will look at, that scene and really analyze the shit out of it. Room 237 is like the moon, and in that movie, Danny is called there, he's summoned there. You know what I mean? An inexplicable draw to go there and everything. And right after that clip in the movie, it doesn't show what happens in 237. I believe he just goes and rejoins his mother, crying, almost in a catatonic state. I think sucking his thumb even, and that is representative of like just being broken after the moon landing. Like he went in there, he realized the truth, and now he's different afterwards, And a lot of people say that that's Kubrick's journey. He got summoned to do this moon thing, and then afterwards, the character Danny came out catatonic, shooken, just changed, his demeanor different for the rest of the movie. That was him. That he was just like so, I don't know, stalked with guilt and whatever, the feeling of like national pride, national like commitment to do this for the country, for the good of the people, that it broke him. He was kind of never the same. But, that's what the conspiracy theorists think, all joking aside, though, my personal opinion, I mean, I don't know, first off, my personal opinion means nothing. I think I said it before, I'm some idiot on the internet, in a pig gimp mask talking shit, I'm not an expert on anything. I'm not a professional researcher either, you know what I mean? I'm just some idiot who bought a webcam and started a YouTube account. But I don't know. I can honestly say I don't know. Is the evidence presented in the conspiracy theory enough for me to definitively rule out every piece of it? No. A lot of it's common sense. A lot of it is instinctual. It clicks to me when I hear it, Do I trust the claims put out by NASA, the government, the media, that yes, this happened. It happened the way that we said? No. I never believe that. Not today. We live in the great age of disinformation. God, there was I don't know if it still does, but there was a point where if you asked Google if men could become pregnant, they would tell you yes. So, I'm not trusting these mainstream sources, even though that they're back from the 70s, I'm sure that the government was psyoping people in the 70s just the same as they're doing it today. It was probably a lot easier. You could only think that psyops were more widespread back then because, you'd think the 1970s people were, just fucking 1970s people. You figure that maybe they weren't as quick or as pilled or woke or whatever the fuck as today, But, I don't know, man. I like to think that we made it to the moon. I like to think that it was this great technological accomplishment, that we came out victorious over the Russians. The American ingenuity, engineering, intelligence was able to get the job done. We went to the moon by the end of the decade, not because it was easy, but because it was hard. I'd like to believe all that shit. It makes a nice warm Americana apple pie 4th of July story. You know what I mean? It sort of gets you in the feels. You know what I mean? You're like, fuck yeah, America, But also, our own government fucking killed JFK. It did a bunch of shady shit in our cities to our own people, tested on them. Having them lie to make this up, I wouldn't put it past them. So, I don't know. Maybe the opinion's out. I can't give an opinion because it's crazy times we live in where I can't trust my own eyes anymore. So, but I can say the conspiracy theory was juicy, man. Like when I was doing my research earlier today, I sunk my teeth deep into that shit, man. I was sitting there pulling up the videos. I had my laptop out looking up questions, names and dates and stuff. And man, I had myself a good time, And at the end of the day, that's what a good conspiracy theory is all about. You know what I mean? It's about hitting those dopamine receptors, getting the imagination flowing, that the little juicy, And today moon landing theory gave me that stuff. So I guess it's a win. I didn't waste any of my time thinking about this mentally or any of that, man. I enjoyed every minute of it. And I hope you guys did too. You guys like this sort of content stuff? Really, I fancy us a community-based show. If you guys want to do more conspiracy type stuff, I could always make that happen. I understand that we all sort of lean a certain way politically. You know what I mean? I could take that out to the farthest edges if you want. You know what I mean? Just let me know how you guys are feeling. Or if you have any ideas for another episode, hit me up on my Gab page. Slam Pig Magoo, obviously, it says it right down there. Or you can hop into the group that's usually pinned up in my profile, join this for no reason. And, throw your ideas out there. I was going to debut a new segment on the show tonight, but I worked all day trying to make a video intro for it, and it took so long that I didn't have time to research a segment. But I finished off the video intro, so next week, unless something, damaging or friggin' catastrophic happens, we're going to set a few minutes aside near the end of the show to run just this whole dedicated segment. Hopefully we'll do it every week. And maybe it'll be a good time. It'll make the stream a little bit easier for me. Just going off the cuff, for an hour straight is kind of hard. You know what I mean? I like to think I didn't do that horrible of a job this week as I did last week. But having a little segment in there, I think, would break that up, give me a chance to rest mentally. At the end of the show last week, I don't know if you guys could tell or not, but the last maybe 3-4 minutes, I started mentally freaking out, like the voices in my head were like, "You're making an idiot of yourself on the internet. You friggin' this show sucks. That people hate it. Shut it down. Just get off the air." And everything, and like it started to work on me, you know what I mean? And when I watched the show afterwards, I could almost see like when that hit at the very end of the show, and I was just like, ooh, But I didn't really get that today, you know what I mean? I sort of liked the flow. I liked the content matter we were doing. I loved the engagement in the chat. Thank you guys so much. Not only for keeping the chat room, bouncing along, which looks great on the stream. But for even like coming here and being here, this show is for us. It's for you as much as it's for me. You know what I mean? It's without you guys here, I'd just be some idiot talking to his webcam or a couple feet in front of him. Man, there'd be no community. The pig pen would be empty. So huge thanks to all you guys that came out for the live stream. If you thought there was any quality or value to this shit show, I welcome you back to do this whole thing again next Sunday, 7:00 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have this party all over again, so always feel free to come back. Spread the word if you liked what you've seen, and let's try to get some more people in here, some more chats, and some more episodes behind us. So until next weekend, my good friends, I'm going to hop out of here. We're running just a little bit late, but I don't think anyone really minds. Until next week, be well, stay out of trouble, take good care of each other, and, stay conspiratorial, I guess. All right, take good care. Thanks a lot.